This episode we're going to talk about different types of paintball markers. Normally when you talk about different types of markers, people start getting into electros and semis and mechanicals and this and that. So we're going to break it down into the different technology levels of paintball markers. First we're going to talk about pump paintball markers, and the first type of pump paintball marker is one of these. This is a stock class paintball marker. Now what differentiates this from a regular pump gun is that the stock class paintball marker has a feed port. This is not a scope, it's a feed port. It holds about 10 rounds, and you feed the paint through 10-round tubes into the end like this. It's powered, instead of using a large air tank, it uses small 12-gram cylinders that usually screw in using one of these 12-gram changers. And classically, these type of paintball markers are called RockCock because the way that you actually feed them is you have to rock the gun forward so that the paint will feed into the gun, cock the gun back and forth, and then you can shoot. The other type of pump paintball marker is one of these. This is a direct feed pump. This one in particular has a center feed on it, very much like you see on some of the semi-automatics. You'll also notice on the back of it there is a normal ASA adapter. This actually fits almost all air tanks, even some of the nitrogen tanks, if you just screw it right on there. Now what I'm holding now are semi-automatic paintball markers. Both of these work in the same basic way, and that is every time you pull the trigger, the gun actually resets itself. It recocks itself every time you shoot. This one works off of a closed bolt semi-automatic. What that means is that there are pneumatics on the side that every time you pull the trigger, it recocks itself that way. This one works as a blowback semi-automatic in that it uses air to actually force the bolt backwards every time you shoot. Both of them work in the same basic way. They're both mechanical. That means that there's a mechanical means of resetting the gun every time you pull the trigger. And on the high end you have the electro-pneumatic semi-automatic paintball marker. A lot of words for basically saying that there is a circuit board inside of here that every time you pull the trigger, the paintball marker fires. The electronic package on the inside of this paintball marker helps you get a higher rate of fire and helps you sustain that rate of fire. Translation, you can shoot really high volumes of paint with this thing. Reload. A lot of people ask if fully automatic or burst mode paintball markers exist, and actually they do. A lot of the electronic paintball markers, you can actually set the modes for full auto or burst mode, but a lot of fields don't allow them, so before you start really cranking out the high rates of fire, make sure you ask your field owner first. Now, is one better than the other? That's kind of up for debate. It's up to personal preference and pretty much how much money you got. I'm poor. I play stock class all the time. It's true. I mean, jeez.